Welcome back to the channel. Salute to the mighty LDBC. My brother BVO Sports TV, that's BVO Sports TV and the whole STN Sports Talk Network. Salute to the Viral Wake podcast, the biggest insane podcast out there. Ain't no way if it ain't Viral Wake. Salute to my brother P Nice, another insane podcast that's out there doing it big for Long Beach. Today I'm waiting on my brother Mahari Sports Nation to pull up, young Abel. But today we're gonna talk about Bam Adebayo and Kobe Bryant. Uh, I have uh, I have mixed feelings about Bam Adebayo's 83 points, and I feel like the NBA is really trying to tear Kobe Bryant's legacy down, and I think they use Bam Adebayo to help. They use Bam Adebayo to help, especially with the Washington Wizards filing the way they was. Just the whole thing just didn't look legit to me. It just looked like it was staged, up 20 something points, 30 points, and y'all still in the game, and just the unnecessary fouling. You know what I'm saying? It's just you're destroying somebody's legacy for what? Bam Adebayo is not going to be a significant player in the NBA. Like, we know Bam is not going to be a player that kids buy his jerseys, or kids outside of Miami buy his shoe, even if he has a shoe. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even sure if Bam Adebayo will win a ring, which he doesn't have the utensils or the team to win an NBA title. And this is no shot at Bam Adebayo, man. It's just the honest to God truth. His game is very, very suspect. For them to pick him to do it was very, very disrespectful. And the way that he did it is just kind of like, sometimes it's just like, where's the integrity for the game of basketball? If you don't have integrity or love for the game of basketball the way others do, stop playing the sport. If you're here to be an agent of chaos, to do what he did, do what the whole NBA actually did to Kobe Bryant's legacy by doing that, which, hey, yeah, you did it. Yeah, you did it with Bam. And, it is what it is. Like, okay, it happened, but it's kind of like, damn, like y'all forced it. Like, y'all forcing it on the people. And I don't feel like that's good. And I feel like the NBA has been nothing but a dumpster fire. There's no defense being played in the NBA now. Everybody runs to hit threes now, and it's just kind of like they go with this analytics bullshit, and it's just destroying and watering the game of basketball down. And at some point, you just have to ask yourself, like, is this what we're really watching? I tried to get by an NBA game, right? And it was hard to watch it because you see 7-footers out there shooting threes. Everybody, they passing up wide open dunks. They're passing up layups. The mid range is not there anymore. It's just, man, it's garbage, man. And I guess it's the European way of playing, because I guess that formulated in 2003, well, 2006, I would say, in the NBA games, when they wanted to play more like the European players in the NBA. And it's just kind of like, man, if this is what the game of basketball is coming to, then I don't respect it. I would never, respect it like the way it used to be. Salute to my brother Mahari Sports Nation in the building. How you doing today, Abel?
I'm doing very well, sir. I just got a bit of a preview of what you just got to say, and I got one thing, a little nugget before we start off. I completely
Okay.
disagree with you. So let's continue. Go ahead.
You know what? Can you tell me what you disagree with me about, brother?
All right, here's the deal, bro. The problem with a lot of you guys here is that you guys are holding on to the past of what you guys grew up with when it comes to basketball. Now, listen, I grew up with you in that era because I was born in 1992, so the 2000s was my era. I saw a lot of Kobe, a lot of T Mac, a lot of LeBron, Vince Carter, Jason Kidd, many of those great players. So I know what that era of basketball would look like. And here's the deal: as time has progressed, the game is going to change and it's going to adapt very differently. And there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be accepting of what it is, and there's going to be some that it's not. Now, it's based on what you like or what you dislike. Now, let me get to the subject at hand, since we're here to talk about the difference between Bam's 83 to Kobe's 81. Now, look, all records are meant to be broken, all of them. Maybe with the exception of, you know what? Let me say this. I think someday someone might break Wilt's 100-point record. It might take a long time before you and I are gone from this world. Who knows? But I do believe that someone will break Wilt's record, considering the fact how the games are played with so many possessions. But here's my thing. The last 4 or 5 minutes of that game, when Bam scored the majority of his free throws, you could say, okay, that's probably just a little bit too excessive with all the free throws and all that. But on that night, the man could not miss. I mean, in order to score 80 plus in a game, like you gotta be on a scoring roll to make it even close to happening. Now remember, I do think that people are going to respect Bam's 83 the same way that people respected Kobe's 81. Now remember, people criticized Kobe when he basically scored 81. Many of them thought he was a ball hog even that season. The same season he scored 62 against the Mavericks. That was a month before he scored 81. So my point is that if you look at the parallels between the two performances, it's almost the same, but it's the way that it was done that you could criticize it for. Now look, I respect both performances. It doesn't matter how you slice it, but I do think that we got to stop. We got to stop saying like, "Oh, you're respecting Kobe's legacy, bro." His legacy is going to be cemented. No one's going to take that away. It is what it is. It's completed. It's done. Nothing's going to change it. There are going to be some players that are going to be better than Kobe, and that's okay. Basketball is going to keep changing. It's going to keep adapting. It's just what it is.
Now that you went on that soliloquy that you that you said a bunch of nonsense, Abel, like I knew
Go
already.
ahead. Go
So
ahead.
what you pretty much telling me is a guy who shot 20 for 43, field goals 36 for 43. Right? The man shot 42 with 47 field goal. I mean free throws. And you call that skill, you call that game, you call that
Pull
you,
up Kobe Bryant's stat line.
Kobe Bryant shot 20 free throws that game. Kobe Bryant's stats was, I think he was 16 for 35 in that
Okay.
81 point game.
Okay.
So you
Okay.
mean to tell me that a man going to the line 42 times, more than 42 times, making 42 free throws, that's acceptable to you when the other team is helping you when you're up by 30 points? That's what you're
Well,
telling
here's
me?
a well, here's the deal, bro. I'm not in charge of the Washington Wizards defense, so I can't tell what they were thinking at that time. Same way with the Toronto Raptors when they refused to double team Kobe Bryant anytime he got the ball. Like I literally remember Sam Mitchell talked about, like, listen, we tried everything. We tried double teaming, we tried triple teaming him, and he could not miss. The same way with Bam when he couldn't miss either. Now look,
That's not true.
you
They were fouling Bam. They were fouling Bam on purpose in the
they were.
Miami Heat. And
I'm not
Miami Heat
dismissing
was
that.
okay. And Miami Heat was fouling the Washington Wizards. They were fouling them on purpose to give Bam extra possessions. Now, Abel, you play the game just like I play the game. I love basketball. That's my first love, bro. I would never cheat the game. What we seen was a travesty in the NBA, in the complete robbery. The referees need to be investigated, and the players need to be investigated from the shit that we
Okay.
seen that night. Am I wrong or right?
No, I'm not going to agree with you on that. Like, listen, man, you got to calm down with the investigational stuff. Like, there's a lot of things to be mad about the NBA. That's not one of them. You want to know the one that still sticks with me to this day? The Game 6 of the 2002 West Finals between Sacramento and Los Angeles. That is one of the biggest travesties in NBA history. You
So
remember
you
that?
go
Go
ahead,
ahead.
Abel. Go ahead, Abel. Go
I
ahead.
was gonna I was gonna say the fact of the matter is that when I remember watching that game and watching how the Sacramento big people were in constant foul trouble the whole night, and you telling me that the Lakers can have 17 free throw attempts in the fourth quarter. Now look, it was in a playoff game where the Sacramento Kings could have made it to the NBA Finals. That game to me is still one of the most ridiculous games of all time. Well, the referees were not even hiding the fact that they were rigging up this game. But let me go back to the Bam thing. Now, listen, we can criticize how it was being achieved, but it doesn't take away the performance that Bam Adebayo had. That's something that's going to be talked about for generations to come. Now, regardless of the fact that if he goes to the Hall of Fame or not, that's subjective. Like I don't know. We'll see how his career, trajectory continues on. But people
Abel,
are
I'm
going
not
to
gonna let
talk
you get
about
away
that
with that.
performance.
Abel,
Go ahead.
I'm not gonna let you get away with what you said about the Sacramento Kings and the Lakers game. You failed to mention that they missed 23 consecutive free throws. Not consecutive, but they missed 23 field goals. That's the part that you chose to leave out, and I don't understand why. Yes, Kobe Bryant did hit Doug Christie in the face at the end. Yes, and the referees missed it.
You mean Mike Bibby? You mean Mike
My
Bibby? It was
okay,
Mike
my
Bibby
baby.
that.
My apologies. My
Yeah, yeah,
apologies. So he
yeah.
hit
No
Mike
problem.
Bibby in the face in the fourth quarter, and you're correct. You're 1,000% correct. Yes, they missed it, but Sacramento also missed 23 free throws. So explain that
Yeah.
to me. Explain that part before you say anything was rigged. Because for it to be rigged, that mean they had to that the referees missed the 23 field goals. I mean the 23 free throws, the 23 fouls that took place when them boys went up to the line and they missed.
Did you see how Vlade was basically defending against Shaquille O'Neal, and anytime he was stand straight up, wouldn't even touch his lane. Was it lane of verticality? That's what it's called. Yeah, lane of verticality, where you basically there's a straight line when you both players jump vertically, and there's an imaginary line that you cannot cross if you're a defender. Now look, Shaq, come on, bro. The man, listen, 17, like 20, was it 15 free throws? I forgot what his number was. Shit. And it was either between 17 free throw attempts in the fourth quarter or 21. I don't remember the exact number. But either way, like, come on, bro. Like, Scott Powell was getting in foul trouble, got into easy foul trouble by simple touches. Vlade was in the foul trouble. Chris Webber had 5 fouls to the point where they had to use Lawrence Funderburk as their backup center. Come on, bro. Like, we knew what the NBA was trying to do. They were
You
trying to
still
extend the
haven't
series to
addressed
game
the
seven.
you still haven't addressed the point that they missed 23 free throws.
That was in game seven. Wait. Was
Okay,
it in
so
game
if you,
was
so
it was it in game seven or game six? I don't
yes, what
remember. But
that's
go ahead.
game seven. That was game seven.
All right. Listen, I'm keeping it centralized as game six because that was ridiculous. Game seven, it's basically open season. You were absolutely right. Absolutely. Game seven, no argument there. I'm talking about the ridiculousness of the calls in that game six. That's all. That's why I'm saying
Okay,
to you there are a lot of things about the game that it was rigged about. But go ahead.
so let's
I
talk
got
about this whistle. Since we're talking about fouls and games being rigged, Bam's 83 wasn't rigged with all the fouls that was going on. Intentional fouls with
well,
5 minutes left, and you're up 25 points to 30 points, and you're still fouling to get this man a fucking record. Explain that to me. How that's NBA basketball? Explain it. What
I
happened to the love of the game?
I could say the same thing too when it came to Kobe Bryant when he was basically shooting about 20 times in that fourth quarter to try to achieve the 81 as
They were
well.
losing.
It doesn't matter. They gave the ball to Kobe every single time, and the
Because
game
he
was
couldn't
basically in double
miss.
digits.
He could not miss. He
Yeah,
couldn't miss.
exactly. Exactly. So guess what? It goes both ways. Yes, I listen. You can criticize how they were able, how the free throw attempts were all that, but it's free throws. You have to hit your free throws to basically score those 81 points. And it wouldn't have gotten to that in the first place if he didn't score 50 points in the first half. They could
He
not
didn't score.
stop. They could
He
not.
did not.
Was it
He did not.
was it
He
was
did
it
not score.
was it 50? I don't remember. Go
No,
ahead.
he scored 30 in the first quarter, and then he went
30 in
on
the
and it
first
went
quarter.
up and went up. But my thing is this though:
Okay.
they were
Okay.
down majority of the game. Abel, you're not mentioning the fact that they were down majority of the game.
I do know that, but the thing is, I'm trying to keep it consistent to the fact that it's basically almost outside of the free throws. It was nearly the same parallels. If you think about it, both of those guys had to take a huge number of shots to get to those points. At the end of the day, if you're going to achieve, listen, you can go back to Will Chamberlain's 100 points too, even though it's not on film. Look how many free throws that man took. Like how many times did they intentionally have fouled him too as well? No, listen, there's no difference between those two performances because a lot of those same guys in that game when Will scored 100, they made him go to the free throw line, and he was in the majority of his free throws too. So it goes both ways, sir. That's all I'm trying
Abel,
to tell you.
Abel, the man shot 42 free throws, brother, to Kobe Bryant's 20. There's
And how many
20.
times? And how many shot attempts that both of them had? How many shot attempts Kobe had?
Hold on. Kobe's average that game was 20 something field goal percent, 20 something shots to
Okay, but
Bam's
how many times?
36, 37.
So let's think about it this way, okay? So and that's that same game when Kobe scored 81. I mean, yeah, 81. He had what 31 or 33 shot attempts. I'm trying to remember. You're on a computer. I'm on a phone, so I can't go back and
Okay.
research.
Well, I'm looking
And
at Bam. Like I said, I'm looking at Bam's numbers right now. So
all
NBA
right,
history,
I'm paying attention.
he shot 20 for 43. That means he shot 43 times from the field.
Yes,
36
yes.
for 40 for 43 from the stripe. That's Bam's
Okay.
numbers, bro. That's impossible.
And
That's insane.
and how many times and how many shots that Kobe Bryant took that for that 81? And this
Kobe.
is where we draw and this is where we have to be consistent. But go ahead.
Yes.
Well, I'm watching
81,
watching
81.
I'm watching St. John's nearly about to upset Duke right now. They're up big right now. Crap.
Okay, so you got Beam. Okay, so this is Beam's numbers. Okay, Beam shot 28 for 46, 60%.
Okay.
He was over 50%. Hold on, he was over 50%.
Mhm.
7 of 13 from the 3, 18 of
Mhm.
20 from the free throw line. Those are excellent numbers.
Mhm.
Those are excellent numbers.
You
Those are
know what
Kobe
though, bro?
Bryant numbers.
You know what? To be honest with you, looking back on it, I think Kobe Bryant's most efficient, high scoring performance outside of the 81, it was the month before when he scored the 62 and three quarters against the Dallas Mavericks. I mean, he was efficient in scoring those 62 points. And let's
He
be honest,
outscored the Dallas Mavericks team. He outscored the whole
ex-
team by himself.
exactly. And if they didn't sat him out in the fourth quarter, I think he could have. I think he could have broken that record. I think he could have scored that same 81 that night against the Dallas Mavericks team that went on to the NBA Finals that same season.
But this is my thing, Abel. This is what I want
Yes,
to ask
sir.
you, Abel. I want you to be
Okay.
honest. I want you to be honest with me, brother. So you honestly respect, and you could honestly sit and tell me that you respect Bam Adebayo's 83 points. Like honestly, being a player of yourself, being a hooper yourself, you really respect it.
Absolutely. It's listen. At the end of the day, it's a fantastic performance. Just like how Kobe Bryant scored his 60 in his final game of his great NBA career. Like at the end of the day, my point is, I enjoy the moment. I enjoy the performance. Now, look, people can have their criticisms about how it was achieved. Do I like the free throw attempts that many times? Sure, it could be over excessive, I'm not going to argue. That's what you believe, no problem. But my thing is, I enjoy the performances. I enjoy the moments. I'm a type of player that is not. I'm not going to be judgmental about how it was achieved. I'm a kind of guy that enjoys the moment, that enjoys players playing at their best level possible. Now, do I expect Van to have this kind of performance ever again? Absolutely not. But for one night, he had a chance to basically had a great performance that he'll never forget for the rest of his life. And to me, that's what I respect about it. Do I think it was excessive of the free throws? Sure, that's fine. But at the end of the day, I'm a type of person that enjoys the moments. I'm not going to sit there and criticize because I used to do that a lot when it came to LeBron James. But and then as you get older and you start to look at things a little bit more differently, you think to yourself like, "What the heck am I criticizing for?" I mean, you got to be. To me, I am very selective of the things that I criticize on. I'm not going to criticize on damn near nearly everything because then I'm taking away the enjoyment of what basketball is. So at the end of the day, I respect it as a basketball person. Do I think it's the free throws were excessive? Yeah, sure. But at the end of the day, we have Wilt when he scored the same 100 points and the amount of free throws that he took, and then we could also talk about Kobe when he took that many shots to score his 81. I mean, at the end of the day, you're going to take that many shots to achieve those points. I mean, that's just it. It seems to me. Here's what I think. I think the thing with you, Insane, is that you just don't like how they were fouling him excessively, and then the amount of free throw it says they were getting in the fourth quarter in the last 5 minutes is where people kind of just were like, okay, this is going overboard with this. Because it felt like it felt like they were trying to help push Bam to get to those 81 to get to those 83.
I
That's
didn't
like that's what I think. But go ahead.
I didn't know the other team would help you get to 83 points. I didn't know that your team will habitually foul the other team to get you more possessions. So now we back on Bam Adebayo. Let's talk about his numbers one more time. He shot the ball.
Absolutely.
He shot the ball 43 times as a center and made 20 of
Yes.
43. That's
Yes.
not a good percentage. That's not a good percentage. You shot 36 of 43 from the line. So that means altogether you shot 43 times from the field and 43 times from the stripe. Where in God's green earth in basketball, bro? Is that common? Is that good? Is that any integrity for the game? So let me swipe over. So now we're talking about Kobe Bryant taking 46 shots. And on a bullshit team, on a boo-boo team, we know that was losing. He shot over 60%, 7 of 13 from three, 18 of 20 from the free throw line. So that means
While
you got
the
18 points from the stripe. Everything you got 18 points from the stripe. Everything else came from what you did off the stripe. You don't respect that? How? Explain that to me. How could
I
you not
st- like
respect real work getting put in?
uh, first of all, you could first of all, Kobe Bryant took that. You know, Kobe was a shot chucker way back. We know all know that. Like he would take shots that were just like it would drive you nuts. Like
Abel, they needed him. Abel, they needed him. But go ahead though, Abel.
I know that they listen. I know what you're gonna say. I know. Oh, they needed those shots to get back the game. Listen, I remember seeing the game on the highlights and rewatching the game when I had to rewatch it from start to finish. Now, yes, they were losing at the time. Absolutely, both of those scenarios can be true. Yes, both of those situations can be true. But at the same time, as well, we also have to consider this fact that the Washington Wizards were intentionally making sure that they were going to make sure that Bam Adebayo didn't score anymore, and they tried trapping him, and that didn't work either. And then they basically started fouling the crap out of him to try to basically make him give up the ball, and he was rolling the free throw line. Now, let me bring up this point before I forget. You want to talk about a performance that deserves the lowest amount of criticism, the highest amount of criticism ever? Go back to David Robinson when he scored 71 and the stories behind that. Do you know the stories behind that?
No, can you elaborate me, please? Could you elaborate on that?
Sure, absolutely. I remember watching an interview with Dominique Wilkins where he were playing. Remember, he got traded to the Clippers in mid-season in 93-94 season. So it was at the time when Shaquille O'Neal and David Robinson were competing for the scoring title, and David Robinson needed 71. It was told, and this is from NBA circles, it was told that the league wanted David Robinson to win the scoring title. So basically, they didn't play no defense around David Robinson, and he was allowed to score as many buckets as he want without any defensive pressure, nothing. He was allowed to score whatever he wanted, and the Spurs kept feeding him the ball all day long because they were being petty because they wanted David Robinson to be the scoring champion instead of Shaquille O'Neal. Now, you want to talk about petty? That to me is one of the biggest pettiest performances you could ever bring up. I used to respect that, but then when I started researching the stories behind it, I'm like, there's no way you could tell me that if you're going to score 71 points, that you wanted the league was going to let you to score whatever you want, and told the Clippers don't play no defense around David Robinson. Come on now.
Okay, and when you said that, that kind of brings me back to the Bam Adebayo situation, how they
Sure.
colluded for him to score 83 points to discredit Kobe Bryant's 81, who was well deserved and well worked for. What we have to understand is the Lakers was down and they needed every point from Kobe. But since we're talking on that level, let's talk about the roster that Kobe Bryant had to deal with. So at that time,
I
it
already
was
know.
Kobe.
I know most of the roster. I
No,
know Smush Parker,
just
Chris Mim. Go ahead.
for the people that don't know. So we got Kobe Bryant, who had 81 points. Lamar Odom, who had 18 points, 10 rebounds. We had Smush Parker, who was terrible. 13 points from Smush Parker. We had Chris Mim. Foul out every game, Chris Mim. Do you remember Chris Mim?
Absolutely. He was part of that disastrous 2000 draft. I know who he is. He was in the top five.
Awful. Awful Chris Mim. 12 points. You had Kwame Brown.
I got a lot
Kwame
to
Brown, bro. Mr. Bust
I can
himself.
yep, I can say a lot of things about Kwame Brown, but I'm not gonna go into that. But go ahead.
Devin George, who was never good.
Hey, he came from Augsburg, Minnesota, so he's from my backyard. But go ahead. Go ahead.
He was
Go ahead.
okay. Do you agree that he was never good?
Who was Devin George?
Devin
I
George.
mean, I mean, he did make it to the NBA, so you got to have some sort of skill. But I'm sure, but yeah, he wasn't really the best.
Brian Cook.
Well, absolutely, that former Illinois alum too. I don't know
Right.
why. I don't know why he was able to get. I don't know why he was able to be drafted that high that time. So
Young.
he was good in Illinois. He was good in Illinois, but you know his game could never translate to pros because basically there were other guys that were bigger and stronger than him. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Young Andrew Bynum, who did not see the floor at 17 years old. That's what Kobe Bryant had to work with. And you tell me that he didn't need to score all those points? The only other player that he was actually playing with was who? Lamar Odom. Right?
Sure. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I mean, so Kobe, I'm asking you now. What you just heard, that roster, Kobe didn't need to score all them points? Who did he have on his fucking team? Explain that to me.
Well, here's the deal, bro. I'm not going to sit there and criticize about the roster though, because I already know about most of the roster. It wasn't even. It was basically underwhelming. Absolutely. But besides that, I mean, at the end of the day, that Kobe Bryant wasn't really well engaging with his teammates either. I mean, we can go into that, but that's not important. The point is that the thing is when I look at both of those performances, they were outstanding performances that we can always talk about for generations to come. Like, listen, I know people still talk about 81 to this day much more in reference than currently right now with Bam. But as the time progressed, people are going to talk about, man, did you see how Bam scored 83 points? Like that's people are going to remember that too. That's just
that 83 is a joke. That 83 is a joke.
To you, it's a joke because you're a Kobe Bryant fan and you revere the Kobe. But people who are watching in today's generation, they're going to say, "Hey, Bam scored 83 and basically passed Kobe Bryant." And I think the bottom line here is that there's a generational issue going on here where the older generation reveres Kobe so much to the point where they mostly reject everything the new generation that does. So I'm not one of those type of people that's going to get angry about it. Can I make my criticism about it? Sure. But my point is I don't have an issue about how the game was achieved and how they scored his points. Like I said, the free throws, absolutely. The way they did it was basically not really well considered. We can both agree to that. But at the same time, when you look at both of those performances, basically it's damn nearly identical minus outside of the free throws. I mean, like I think what's happening here is that there's just more Kobe fans that revere Kobe so much that they think, oh man, no, there's no one that could ever touch Kobe's greatness. Nobody could ever outdo what Kobe Bryant ever did. We already see LeBron do it already in about 23 years of basketball. I mean, let's just be real with ourselves. And yes, go ahead, your turn.
Okay, so you say that as if the Miami Heat wasn't up 25 to 30 points going into 7 minutes, 8 minutes into the fourth quarter, which you usually sit your starters, correct? You usually sit your starters because you don't want injuries, right? And that's what we do. Didn't you say LeBron James has done everything that Kobe Bryant done? That's BS, bro. Kobe Bryant never lost 6 times in the final. Explain that.
Well, Kobe Bryant also lost in the NBA Finals too. Same with LeBron. And by the way, LeBron making all those NBA Finals is not going to ever be duplicated again in the history of basketball. People, listen. I want you to understand something here. And I don't want to take this off base, but I'll go into it just a little bit since we're on it now. No one is going to make going to make that many NBA finals anymore because making the finals is difficult. It's extremely difficult. There's so many players like Carmelo Anthony that never made an NBA finals. There's so many other great players that were great in their time that never even sniffed an NBA finals. So for LeBron James to make that many finals, yes, he lost to some of the greatest teams that you could ever think of. But at the same time, he made all those NBA finals. Yes, you can criticize how they lost those finals, but again, he made how many finals? 2007, 2011, 2012,
10
13, 10 NBA finals.
in the
Listen,
weak East.
10 doesn't matter if the East is weak or not. Listen, you have to go through your competition to get to the NBA finals. No one is ever going to achieve those many finals ever again in this lifetime. No one. I don't care. I don't care if it's Wendy. I don't care if it's Shea. I don't care if it's Joker. I don't care if it's Tatum, Brown, Edwards, who's one of my favorite players. Doesn't matter. No one is going to ever make that many finals in this lifetime. And yes, many great players have lost in the NBA finals too. We cannot forget that. So at the end of the day, I'm going to continue to say, yeah, you can criticize how he lost all that many finals, but nobody's going to ever make that many finals appearances for a long
Hey,
time. But
hey,
but now but let's go back. Let's go back to the 80 thing. Go
no,
ahead.
no, 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 Abel, you're not gonna get away with that.
All
First
right,
of
go
all,
ahead. Let's have it. Let's
he
have it smoke. Go ahead.
he did make 10 NBA finals. Congratulations. And you lost majority of them. Second of all, let's talk about how what this is what LeBron does. LeBron builds teams, bring over the best players from those generations, from those times, and that's how he makes the NBA finals. And let's talk about the Miami Heat when he made the NBA finals. So I don't want to talk about that Cavaliers team in the weak East where everybody was hurt, where he took Boobie Gibson, Mo Williams and them boys to the NBA finals, which was a good day. He did good on that when he did his thing. When they lost to the San Antonio Spurs, I have nothing to say about that. But we know those guys in the East was hurt. So let's talk about how he went to Miami with the top two stars of the NBA, not top two stars, but top seven NBA stars at the time. Let's talk about how he left those guys. How he had Ray Allen all in, Rashard Lewis all in around him, James Posey, Garrett. We ain't gonna talk about that. But then let's talk about when he went to Cleveland. You got a young Kyrie Irving who was I could say the best point guard in the league, and then he went and got the best power forward in the league at the time, which was Kevin Love. Do we forget that when he was going to the finals with? Oh, you didn't want to talk
You're
about how he
talking.
built those
You're
teams with the best players. Let's talk about how he when he came to the Lakers. Hold on, Abel.
Okay.
You did the talking. Now it's my turn. So let's talk about when he
Got it.
went. Let's talk about when he went to the Lakers and he assembled that team, bro. When he took the best power forward in the game, which was Anthony Davis, and he had arguably one of the best centers in the game, which was DeMarcus Cousins, who got hurt, and he went and got the beast in Dwight Howard. So we're not talking about how LeBron James builds these teams. Are we? Are we? That's how he makes it to these NBA finals. So those NBA finals are constructed from late GM. It wasn't from an organization standpoint to where he stayed with one team and they went to the NBA finals. No, he jumps from team to team and recruits and gets the best players to play along with him. So when we gonna talk it, let's talk the facts. Your turn.
Are you all right? Thank you very much. First of all, when you're trying to make the NBA Finals, you're damn right. I want all the best players on the team. What are you talking about? You're supposed to have the best players on the team. Are we not going to sit here and say that the Chicago Bulls were a super team with all those great players that they got? The LA Lakers, the Showtime Lakers, the Shaq and Kobe Lakers, the Larry Bird Celtics. Many of those great teams were super teams outside of 2004 Detroit Pistons, which is something that we're never going to see in this lifetime. But listen, the bottom line here is a well constructed organization is going to work to the needs of a superstar. The Miami Heat were fortunate to have Pat Riley as their executive and general manager and knew the players that they needed around him to help LeBron James and Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade succeed to win those championships, right? Here's the thing. It's not. It's basically up to the organization to do the job to get the best players around them. That's the point. All right. We have to be considerate this. Listen, I watched Kevin Garnett stay the majority of his career in Minnesota. the majority of his career in Minnesota. And look how they screwed him. 10 plus years in Minnesota. All those first round eliminations. Only one conference final the entire time. You want to know why? Because the organization screwed him at every single turn. Sometimes you got to look at the organizations and look at how they're constructing their teams to help their franchise player. I don't blame LeBron for moving from team to team. Listen, he exercises power to try to get the best players around him so they can try to take advantage of every single possibility to win a championship possible. I'm not going to blame him for it. I do the same thing. Maybe not to the same tactics that he does because I'm a bit more sympathetic than LeBron is. But that's a personality thing. The point is, every single star player needs help to win championships. You can't just rely on one person to carry an entire load. Ask Allen Iverson. That never worked. Ask ask many great players that they try to win it with one particular superstar. Outside of Akeem Olajuwon in 1994, before he had Drexler in 95, literally you had to have two or three stars to win championships.
Now,
That just pretty much is what it is.
now
But
I'm
at the
about
end of
to
the day, now
go
now
ahead.
you about to roast me with what? But go ahead. I'll let you
Now,
have your turn. You can have the mic.
now I'm about to lighten up in your ass now. So,
Let's go. I'm
uh,
ready.
the Timberwolves made a mistake with I can't remember his name. The power forward. I don't want to ruin his name. Remember, his wife was just doing OnlyFans. Joe
You
Smith.
talking about?
Joe.
Yeah, yep. Yep.
Yeah.
I was
So
gonna tell you, Joe Smith.
yeah, Joe Smith.
That's the illegal. Remember, they did. Remember, the Timberwolves did illegal contracts under the table.
Yeah.
Same,
Yeah.
similar to the Kawhi Leonard situation,
And
except that
that's a
the
fact.
league, yeah, and the league caught the Timberwolves red-handed and stripped away all those draft picks in
Correct.
KG's prime. So I'm
Correct.
telling you, my point is, when it comes to organization, when they make stupid decisions like that, that's going to impact star players' legacies, especially when it came to Kevin Garnett. But I'll let you have your turn.
Okay. Okay. So now you spoke about the Chicago Bulls. You spoke about Kobe and Shaq. You talk about the Larry Bird Celtics. Let's talk about the Chicago Bulls. The Chicago Bulls drafted those players, bro. Dennis Rodman was an outcast. Nobody wanted Rodman. So that's when he was a problem in the NBA. No team wanted Dennis Rodman. So it wasn't that Dennis Rodman was this hell of a player. No, that's not the truth. Dennis Rodman was an outcast. He went from Detroit to San Antonio, and San Antonio didn't want him because he was a problem in the locker room, and he was pretty much on some weird things, and we know what Dennis was on. Dennis came to the Chicago Bulls and shined. That wasn't supposed to happen, but under the tutelage of Phil Jackson. So besides Dennis Rodman, who was an outcast, everything else was drafted. Antonio Kukoc, Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan, Luke Longley, and everybody else was drafted. So that's drafting. That's not going to a team and telling this player, and colluding with those players to come to this team. Let's talk about the Kobe and Shaq Los Angeles Lakers. Everybody else was drafted. Derek Fisher, Eddie Jones, Kobe Bryant, everybody but Shaquille O'Neal, who Orlando couldn't pay the money that he wanted. And then when Shaquille O'Neal first got to the Lakers, they weren't winning like that. So they went and got a tired Rick Fox. Rick Fox wasn't good like that, and they brought him in, and they took a guy who choked his coach out, I believe, or did something funny to his coach, and they brought over Robert Ory. Those are problems. So that had nothing to do with going to go get star players to come and play with me. Now let's talk about those Boston Celtics. Besides the center being traded, which he wasn't really worth nothing, everything else was drafted. McHale and all those guys were drafted to Boston. So now we're talking about drafting and not going to go get stars. So when you say that, you have to mention the fact that these guys drafted. Oklahoma City drafted. The only thing that came over was Shea, but Shea was an unpolished jewel then. So now we have to be honest with ourselves here. LeBron James, what he pretty much did was become lay GM, had backdoor channels, and did things he wasn't supposed to do. And he pretty much cheated his way to the NBA Finals all those times. I yield the floor to you, sir.
I got a question. Why everybody keeps saying lay GM? I don't know. It's not to you. It's like, come on, you guys. I get annoyed too easily. I get annoyed when people say, "Oh, LeBron did this, LeBron did that, LeBron did this, LeBron did that." Like, God dang, are we gonna blame LeBron for everything? Dang, I don't know, but I'm being playful. But no, I will tell you this though too. Okay, we also have to consider this though too. Michael could have left in 1996 and went to the New York Knicks. We do know that, right? He was a free agent in 1996, and he was going
At
to
the
leave
time,
for the
those
Knicks.
players never left their team. They retired there.
Bro, he was going to leave for the New York Knicks. They had a contract on the table. It's confirmed. It is real. The Knicks offered him the same deal, the same 1 year deal that the Bulls eventually gave him, but they had to double up the money because remember, Michael was going to leave. He was going to leave for New York, and his agent at the time told him, you got up to 10 hours. Was it 5 hours or 10 hours to match the offer, or he's going to New York Knicks? Can you imagine if he would have went to the New York Knicks and played with Patrick Ewing? It would have changed the entire NBA landscape. So yes, players have used their leverage before to get the organization to do something to basically either give them more money that they should have been deserved. Because let's be real, Jordan and Pippen at that time, they were underpaid, severely underpaid. I mean, come on, bro. They were severely underpaid. And more importantly, when it came to the Celtics too, they drafted Larry Bird during his junior year in college. Like, come on, bro. And more importantly, too, when it came to the Lakers, they got the number one overall pick after they won a championship. Something that's never done
Do
before
you
and will
understand why they
most
got
likely
that pick?
never. Oh yeah, I remember they got that pick because Cleveland was stupid.
Okay, well,
They
elaborate on how they got the pick, and don't say things like that because you would take something that another person doesn't know, and then they will run with it as if the league was colluding with the Lakers. That's not what happened.
I just said that Cleveland was stupid for trading away their number one pick. I just forgot who the player was. But yeah, they traded away. They basically traded away their draft rights that basically resulted in the number one pick to the Lakers. Stupidly,
Correct. Correct.
stupidly.
So,
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
what you saying that you never seen that happen? You have to put context behind the game. Your turn. I yield the floor to you.
Listen, like I told you, like I said, when it came to organizations, these organizations at the time were dumb and stupid, and the Lakers and the Celtics were the only smart ones in the room that saw the value of draft picks. Absolutely, just like just like today, when basically players understand that. Listen, we have to exercise our player empowerment because if these organizations can screw us all this time, what do you think is going to happen if we stay there for the next 5 to 10 years and end up being like Damian Lillard? Those are the
It,
things that these players would think about. That's all. That's all I'm saying. I'm more in favor of player empowerment, but it doesn't mean that I won't criticize a player that is making a dumb decision because of either pettiness or just not thinking things, not reading the room.
okay, so you just spoke on Dame. Okay, which Dame we knew what Dame was watching NBA. We knew
Hmm.
Dame was a no defensive player. He chucked up a million shots. So when he got to Milwaukee, I knew the dynamics wouldn't work, especially with Doc Rivers being the BS coach that he is. He has no real coaching experience. Though Doc has a world title, look who Doc got the world title with: Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce,
Bro,
Ray Allen, Chris
you are absolutely
Rondo.
right. You're absolutely right.
Correct. So that's why that experiment failed. Now, if you take a guy per se, Pat Riley, Phil Jackson, maybe even an Eric Spoelstra, or some of these other guys, Jerry Sloan, and some of these other guys, you know what I'm saying? Even Don Nelson, you know, with the pedigree that they have, you get somewhere. Even a Greg Popovich, even somebody look at give Ime Adoka that team that was in with the Bucks where you had Dame and Giannis, and I think the whole landscape would have just been different. So you got these bullshit coaches that come in and get these big contracts because they have a name, and a lot of people don't understand that Doc got that ring off of the back of all-star, historic, pretty much Hall of Fame players. So that was that
Hmm.
situation, but Dame was never. Chris Paul is better than Dame Lillard. And
That's
I
fine.
made a and I made a post the other day. I said, who would I take? I would take Steve Nash over Chris Paul, and I
Uh,
stick by
that's,
that.
you stick by Chris Paul over Steve Nash.
No, I stick by Steve Nash over Chris Paul.
Interesting. Okay. No problem. No problem.
Oh,
I can see why you would choose him. No problem. No problem. Okay.
right. So, and I know we're getting away from the topic, and I think we covered that topic pretty good. So the last 16 minutes, I kind of just want to the state of the NBA today and what we're seeing today. And the only reason why I would take Steve Nash over Chris Paul or even Shea, all these guys, he was a real typical point guard. He was Magic Johnson. He was Penny Hardaway. He was team first, and then if he needed to score, he scores. We get these guys. They run, they shoot threes. They have no respect for the game. They don't play no defense. They don't get these other players involved. And then the NBA sit back. They shit on the prototypical point guard. The point guys and things like that, which I have zero respect for. The NBA today, it's hard to watch these games, and Abel, I know it's hard for you to watch these games as well.
It depends on how the flow of the game is. I'm not, I don't judge every game just based on perception, based on, narratives or anything like that. You're going to step into the mindset of me. Now, listen, I respect basketball from all different types of eras, from the 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s. I think honestly, the 2010s may have been some of the best basketball you'll ever see in your lifetime. Now, the 2020s can be can be can be interpreted the way that I think some might think. Oh, they're shooting too many threes. Well, it depends on the team. Like I know the Celtics shoot more threes than any other team in the NBA, but there are a lot of other teams too that don't shoot that many threes either, like the Detroit Pistons or even the Minnesota Timberwolves that basically don't use a lot of threes. You know what I'm saying? But I do think that the defense in the NBA right now is starting to come back, but there are some things that they have to start like tweaking and making adjustments. Like number one, I think some of the physicality is starting to come back a little bit. Now, listen, you remember when James Harden was basically drawing all those fouls and getting that many free throws?
Yes.
That's been that's what I'm seeing this year. They're starting to take that away a lot more, especially when I'm watching games when Shea draws contact a lot of the time. He's not getting to the line as much anymore because they're starting to wise up a little bit more. Like, no, you have to start drawing more contact instead of feinting the contact to draw the free throw attempts. Now, the other thing that I like that I see in today's basketball here is that now there's more emphasis on team building now. You can't just use three stars anymore and expect to win a championship. You have to start using complementary players to surround the top player to get the best out of them. Just like how OKC do it. Because OKC, what they saw was the value of draft picks, the value of player development. And now the rest of the league is starting to see fit now because you're not seeing that many super teams anymore. I think at this era right now, the super team era of the 2010s at this point is pretty much dead. It's pretty much done with because now you're seeing better team building. You're seeing better cohesiveness a little bit better now. And I think that in the near future, you're going to see more point guards that are going to become 6'5", 6'6", and has to do a lot more things with the ball in their hands now than in comparison to a guy who's about 6'3" or 6'5". Because I really think right now the height of these point guards now is going to change. I really believe that. Ooh, sounds like he dropped out a little bit, but we'll continue on this conversation here. Okay, okay, his internet's out. So I think in the near future, you guys, I do think that NBA basketball is going to overall change, either for the better or for the worse, depending on what era you came from, and based on your interpretation about how basketball is. But I do think that this era of basketball right now is starting to get into a better direction now. It's just a little bit more tweaks to try to get it better. And if we get the same physicality of defense that we see back in the 2000s, I think the NBA could make a good comeback. But my issue with the NBA is who's going to be the face of the league when LeBron retires? That's
I,
going to be the ultimate question.
okay, Abel, can you hear me?
Absolutely.
Okay, so you said who's gonna be the face of the league? I think right now, in which I heard everything that you were saying. You were saying some good things that the old way of playing is actually coming back. I believe the best basketball I ever seen was in the early 2000s. That's the best
Ah,
basketball I ever seen in my life.
oh
Uh,
yeah, absolutely.
You see more skilled players. Like I said, it's just now we get this watered down version of basketball. You know what I'm saying? I don't like the way Shea plays. I don't like the whistle that he gets. I never liked the whistle that James Harden gets. Even Luka Doncic being on the Lakers, I don't like his whistle. It's like everybody want their points from the stripes now. You get what I'm saying? The only people's game that I truly enjoy is I like Ant-Man's game because Ant-Man gives you basketball. He's playing basketball, and you have to respect what he's doing. You get what I mean?
I understand that, but at the same time, almost every player will be playing those referee games to get the calls. That is how it is. That's how basketball always is, and that's how it's going to be. So we can't change that. But I do like the advancement of how the Ant-Man's game. I do think that the Timberwolves need a point guard. They need a playmaking point guard to really get this team jumping. Because I don't like how the Timberwolves allowed how Ant-Man to be the main playmaker as their main point guard, while he has to be the playmaker, he has to be a scorer. I mean, they put too much responsibility on that man. They need a point guard.
Which Houston needs a point guard as well. But I just miss the days where we built teams like the Portland Trailblazers. I miss teams built like the Los Angeles Lakers, like the Dallas Mavericks and the San Antonio Spurs, where we had actual drafting going on. We didn't have superstars want to play with super. We wanted superstars against
Hmm.
unanimous MVPs. The game is on a downslope when guys like him are winning one or two or three, MVPs, and we got Jaren Jackson Jr. out here, and we got Rudy Gobert, and we have so many other centers, in the game. But I guess they wanted to flow like the European game and the USA or when the Olympic game. So I guess that's where the NBA turned to.
Well, I can tell you right now, the Europeans still can't beat the United States in the Olympic Games. So until that happens, the U.S. is still dominating the world of the majority of basketball. So you
What
know,
what did
I do.
what did Go ahead. Go ahead. My
I
bad.
was gonna say, I think the future of I think the next guy that's gonna be the new face of the league. I think it's gonna be Wemby. Wemby's
Yeah,
going Wemby at this point, bro. He's already the best defender in the NBA,
that's a
and his
fact.
skill. Oh yeah, he's already the best defender in the NBA. He can block, he can make switches, and his playmaking. The one thing about him is he commands so much attention from the opposition that it generates better offense around his teammates. Where Vassell, Castle, and all the other guys are basically getting wide open threes. Why? Because they're so fearful of Wemby's dominance in the paint. I'm telling people, I said Wemby is only a matter of time before he starts winning some championships. It's only a matter of time because the Spurs are already ahead of schedule in terms of being a championship contending team. But I digress. I think it's Wemby's going to be the future of the NBA. I don't think they're going to push Jason Tatum, Jalen Brown, and certainly not Nikola Jokic because as good as he is, has always been, he just doesn't draw that appeal that Wemby does.
And you're right, and I second that. But the thing is, what I wanted to elaborate before we get out of here, um,
Yes,
the
sir.
NBA, the NBA now. Would you agree that the NBA now is so watered down that it's hard to stomach and it's hard to watch? Would you say that? Would you agree that?
Not entirely. Do I think there's like I said, there's some improvements that can be made, but I think right now, here's my issue. We're gonna have expansion in the next couple of years.
Yeah,
My concern here is that now you're gonna have to start choosing who you're gonna protect to protect on your roster in the event of an expansion draft. Now remember, we went through this in the early 90s when we went through NBA expansion with the four other NBA teams, and then also in the mid 90s too when we had two Canadian teams. It did water down the league, and that's why the 90s got watered down significantly. So we've been through this before. So we don't know how it'll turn out when expansion starts. We'll see how it looks. But I think the game as a total right now, I think that I think that the defense is starting to improve a little bit better. I think that The one area of focus I think that it needs to be improved on is just better offensive efficiency. That is pretty much it. If you're not a good 3-point shooting team, you shouldn't have to take that many threes. All you have to do is just play to your strength, and then you're good. And if basically if you got an open three, you can take it. But you don't have to. If you're not a good 3-point shooting team, there's other ways to win. So just better efficiency, and I think the NBA will be back on track. But I think it's going in a better direction. I think it should. I think it'll get better. It's just a matter of time. But
Okay,
hey, man, go ahead, go ahead. You finish.
when I look at the Los Angeles Lakers and I look around the landscape of the league, I'm seeing the Backstreet Boys.
To your
I'm seeing the
Lakers,
Backstreet Boys. The Lakers, the Nuggets, multi teams. It's looking like the Backstreet Boys out there, and it's just like, what happened to the athletic African American, slick African American in the game of basketball, to where all we play now is white guys. Look at the Lakers, and there's no hate to them. You know what I'm saying? I like Jake LaRavia. I like Austin Reeves. I like Luka Doncic. You know what I'm saying? But some of the other players that we have on the Los Angeles Lakers are very skeptical. Skeptical. You get what I'm saying? And then when we lose in the playoffs, it's because we don't have the athleticism no more. And they always say, "Oh, the Lakers are not athletic." Well, this is why we're not athletic. Look at the product that you're putting on the floor. So, are you scared that the league is going to pretty much, which they are? Look at the Chicago Bulls. Look at everywhere else. Are you scared that the league is going to turn into that? Like, are you aware of what's going on? Like, do you see it?
of course I do. But at the same time, it's going to be up to the organizations to address those issues. I don't expect. I think the Lakers at this point, and this is going to be my last thing because before I get out of here, the thing is the Lakers. What they're going to have to address is when they're going to transition to the Luca era. Who are the players that they're going to bring on to try to complement the talents of Luka Doncic? Because we know LeBron James is going to lead the team because at the end of the day he's entering his 40s, and if he's going to play his twilight years, he can go play somewhere else. The Lakers. What they did was that they were smart enough to keep Austin Reeves around. In fact, I do even remember Laker fans wanted him to trade for what's that dude from New Orleans?
Yeah,
That dude from
yeah, I
New
know he
Orleans.
came from the Spurs. Came from the Spurs.
Yeah, I know his name though. God damn it. He's was it? I
D-
forgot his name. I forgot.
okay. Dejounte Murray.
Deontay Murray. Thank you. That's what I was thinking. Laker fans wanted him to trade for Deontay Murray because they were so obsessive in the fact that we got LeBron here, and then there was some diehard LeBron fans that were basically saying, "Oh, we got to utilize every single year to try to get the possibility to a championship." And I look at the roster like, how are you going to do that when basically the roster is not made to win a championship right away? They're just made right now to try to transition franchise players at this point. So I do think that when the season's over with, I do think LeBron is going to lead the Lakers, and I do think that there's going to be some players that are going to have to complement what Luka's good at. I think this is just a year where everything's in transitional phase to see who stays and who goes. Carlson Reeves and Luka, they're going to stay, no doubt in my mind, because if you lose either one of them, there'll be a mistake. And Dallas is so stupid or training Luka, one of the stupidest trades of all time. So, but
Facts.
yeah, stupid. Straight stupid. You don't trade a guy that literally led you to the NBA finals and you basically traded him for a guy that basically barely played almost half the season. Stupid. Straight
That
stupid. They're gonna
that that's a fact. That's a fact. Well, with that being said, Abel, give the people your last words, man. And thank you for coming on the podcast, Abel. I definitely appreciate you, and we definitely gonna keep talking up this basketball talk whenever you free.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for letting me to come on. And I haven't done med videos in a while. I should probably start doing that though. But y'all can find me right here on YouTube, Mahari Nation Sports Podcast here, man. And it was a lot of fun. We should do it again some other time. And tell BBO I'm still waiting for his Tefimo Lopez loving ass to come around here and talk about this boxing stuff because we got a lot of stuff to talk about when it comes to boxing history. I'm gonna get his ass when it comes to boxing. Let him know. Let him know. I'll be waiting for him.
For sure, I got you.
Tefimo loving ass. You want to come right here and say, "Oh, I love you, Tefimo. Oh, I love you." Oh, I'm gonna get him then. So, all right,
For
man.
sure. For sure, man. Salute to the mighty, mighty LDBC. My brother BVO Sports TV, the Viral Way podcast, the biggest insane podcast out there. My brother P Nice. With that, we gone.
Peace.